For 3 years, I played the role the perfect, doting house husband to my powerhouse CEO wife. And I was damn good at it. All part of the plan, of course. My wife, the resident ice queen, was a woman torn. The more I leaned into the sweet, sensitive guy routine, the more guilt she'd feel when she finally left me for her childhood sweetheart. And that guilt, it would translate into a divorce settlement big enough to set me up for life. My entire future hinged on these 3 years of masterful acting. Honey, can you spend my birthday with me tonight? I asked, watching her pack up to leave. I know you're meeting him, your long-lost love. Go! I even packed a little care package for you. Besides, my real party was waiting for me. To my shock, the Ice Queen didn't leave. She wanted to come to the bar with me. I checked my reflection, fluffing my hair just right. The soft boy next door face paired with simple, cozy loungewear screamed devoted husband. It was a look I'd perfected. This face, this carefully crafted aura of gentle devotion was guaranteed to make Victoria Sterling feel so damn guilty she'd give me half of everything she owned. That was the golden parachute. My ticket to freedom. The front door opened. Victoria strode in, her face a mask of cool indifference. Her makeup was severe, equal parts off limits, and come and get me. I immediately wiped the smug look off my face, rushing forward to take her coat and sliding a pair of slippers toward her feet. She remained as cold and remote as ever. The warmth of the house did nothing to thaw the frost on her features. Still, I kept up the act, nuzzling up to her like a golden retriever. As I did, I subtly dropped the care package I'd prepared into her designer handbag. Honey, I said, voice full of hopeful vulnerability, can you spend my birthday with me tonight? Victoria glanced up, her gaze sharp enough to cut glass. You absolute witch, I thought. I'm your husband. I asked you to celebrate my birthday and you glare at me? My inner monologue was raging, but my face remained a perfect portrait of soft, hopeful love. Victoria's brow furrowed. What was that sound? I looked around, feigning confusion. I don't hear anything. She must be hearing things. All the work finally getting to her. Or maybe she's just so excited about her little rendezvous with Prince Charming, she's getting paranoid. Her eyes turned cold again as she stood up. I have a client dinner tonight. I'll have a cake delivered. You can celebrate here. Lie. To my face. A client dinner. Right. As if anyone would believe that transparent excuse for a booty call with her ex. Here it comes. The turn. The pitying glance. Victoria turned her head, looking at me with something that could almost be mistaken for regret. I seized the moment, crafting an expression that was 7 parts disappointment and 3 parts quiet strength. I turned away. It's okay, honey. You go. I'll be fine here by myself. Go, go. The party supplies are in your bag. Besides, I had my own plans. The guys were waiting. We were hitting the club, hitting it hard. My night was going to be epic. I held the pose, a portrait of the martyred house husband, while inwardly I was bursting with joy. The thought of the impending divorce and the mountain of cash that came with it had me fantasizing about sports cars and a life of blissful, decadent freedom. Lost in my daydreams, I didn't notice the slight twitch at the corner of Victoria's mouth. Cold as ever, she just nodded and walked out the door. The second it clicked shut, I leapt into the air. Yes, let's get this party started. It's been 3 years since I woke up inside a trashy romance novel. I'm the supporting male character, the chump, the hero of the story, Caleb Vance. With a name like that, you know he's destined for greatness. He broke up with the female lead, Victoria Sterling, to get his MBA at Stanford. Victoria, in turn, married me, a handsome trust fund kid who was genuinely, deeply in love with her. She then used my family's resources to build a corporate empire in just 3 years. To ensure I'd stay a compliant house husband, she even staged a hostile takeover of my family's company, neutering any ambition I might have had. The original Leo Miller, the guy whose life I inherited, was obsessed with Victoria. He debased himself, swallowing his pride to be her doormat. But he knew about Caleb, so he resorted to increasingly desperate measures to keep Victoria by his side, drugging her, trying to hire a hitman to take Caleb out. All kinds of insane schemes. In the end, Victoria threw him out with nothing. Unlike the original Leo, my moral compass is, shall we say, more practical. I don't love Victoria, but I do love money. The novel mentioned that Victoria, out of respect for my family's initial help, had planned to give me half her assets in the divorce. But the original Leo's psycho behavior torched that deal. He ended up in prison and died penniless. That wasn't going to be my ending. For 3 years, I've been the perfect house husband. In Victoria's eyes, I'm a harmless, devoted man. I've even been subtly trying to push her and Caleb back together, laying the groundwork for their reunion all so I could get that sweet divorce settlement and ride off into the sunset. I went to my room and took a quick shower, swapping the cozy loungewear for designer jeans and a leather jacket. I ran some product through my hair to give it that messy, styled look. The man in the full-length mirror was a world away from the soft, gentle husband. This was a player, a rogue with a dangerous glint in his eye. Showtime. I twirled the keys to my McLaren on my finger and strode out of the room. Down in the garage, I slid into the driver's seat. The engine roared to life, a thunderous sound that matched the pounding in my chest. Freedom was so close, and then click, a set of blindingly bright headlights flashed on from the other side of the garage. My first thought was intruder, but then I saw the vehicle, a Mercedes G-Wagon built like a tank. And stepping out from behind the wheel, a pair of long, slender legs in sheer stockings. My blood ran cold. She hadn't left. Where are you going? A smirk played on Victoria's lips. Her cool, appraising eyes swept over me. I saw a flicker of something new in them, surprise, and maybe even appreciation. I'll admit it, I'm a handsome guy. A woman like Victoria would never have married me, even as a cover, if I wasn't. You weren't supposed to be at a client dinner, I stammered, shrinking back in my seat, instinctively trying to hide the outfit that completely shattered my carefully constructed persona. The corner of her mouth lifted into a small, genuine smile. We've been married for 3 years, and this is the first time you've ever asked me to spend your birthday with you. I rescheduled. My phone buzzed. It was the guys, calling to see where I was. What the hell is wrong with this woman? Ditching her soulmate to spend a birthday with me? This is bad. This is really bad. She's going to see right through me. My mind was a chaotic mess. Just then, I saw her reach into her handbag. Her expression soured as she pulled out the small bottle of massage oil I'd slipped in there. Panicked, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. It hurts the first time. I heard this stuff helps. The words were out before I could stop them. I squeezed my eyes shut. 3 years of work. 3 years of building the perfect character. All gone up in smoke. I had to salvage this. I looked up at her, eyes wide with the most pathetic, wounded deer expression I could muster. You think I don't know you and Caleb have been in touch this whole time? My voice cracked. You never have client dinners at night. You were going to see him, weren't you? Nice pivot. Put her on the defensive. Expose her. Genius, Leo. Pure genius. Victoria didn't say a word. She just pressed her lips together, a deep crimson line, and rested her hand on my car door. Get out. I wasn't about to argue. I scrambled out of the car. The moment I was on my feet, she pushed me back against the hood. Her eyes, now dark with an emotion I couldn't place, bored into mine. I put you through a lot these last few years, she said quietly. I made you into something you're not. I was speechless. But my mind was screaming. Oh, God, she's lost it. She's completely lost it. What's she doing? Why is she unbuttoning her coat? Oh my God, is she serious? She can't do this. If she's not a virgin for Caleb, he'll never take her back. Bang! She leaned in and crushed her lips against mine. My brain short-circuited. Everything went blank. It wasn't that I was some kind of prude. For the kind of money I was playing for, I'd already sacrificed my dignity. My chastity was a small price to pay. But this plot twist was so far off script, I was completely stunned. Tori, are you in here? A man holding a bouquet of roses appeared at the open garage door. He wore a sharp suit and stylish wire-rimmed glasses, a hint of stubble giving him that rugged intellectual look that drove women crazy. It was Caleb. He strode into the garage, a hopeful smile on his face which immediately vanished when he saw us. My brain rebooted. I shoved Victoria away and frantically tried to smooth out my clothes. Mr. Vance, it's not what it looks like. Victoria and I spoke at the same time. I quickly added, nothing happened. I promise. Caleb ignored me completely, his wounded gaze fixed on Victoria. Tori, I'm back. I called, but you didn't answer. So I came to find you. He gestured vaguely toward the house. Your security system still has my faceprint registered. I just let myself in. I didn't think I didn't know you'd be here. The nerve of this woman. They're broken up, and she didn't even bother to change the security codes. I forced a meek, friendly smile, the kind my character would wear while my inner voice was spitting venom. But for that 8-figure settlement, I could maintain the facade. Victoria's jaw tightened. She shot a look at Caleb. I'm busy. I don't have time to mess with the security system. Though she was speaking to him, it felt like she was explaining herself to me. She turned back to Caleb, her voice dropping to a low command. Get out of my house. Now, or I'm calling the police. No, don't. I'm going. I'll go. Caleb, not wanting to push her, backed away. But as he left, he shot me a look of pure, triumphant victory. Tori, I know you still have feelings for me. I can forgive this. I've waited 3 years. I can wait a little longer. Get out. I never thought I'd hear Victoria Sterling say that word to the man she was supposedly madly in love with. He's just leaving. No, don't go. This isn't how the story is supposed to go. I was dumbfounded. As Victoria straightened her dress, I spoke up cautiously. Honey, maybe you should go after him. He looked really upset. She shot me a sideways glance. We're all adults here. So what if he's upset? Besides, he and I are ancient history. She picked up my leather jacket from the car hood and draped it over my shoulders. If he gets hit by a car on his way out, it has nothing to do with me. Whoa, that's cold. Something is very, very wrong here. My forced smile was starting to crack, but the mask had been on for so long it was practically my face. Let's go, she said. Go where? To celebrate your birthday. But since it's your birthday, we should do it right. Let's go to a club. A cold dread washed over me. A club? Are you kidding me? This was a direct assault on my character. If she found out I was a regular who drinks and parties, my 3 years of playing the perfect house husband would go down the drain. That settlement? Gone. But in our house, Victoria's word was law. She grabbed my arm, pulled me toward her G-Wagon, and fired up the engine. So, she said, turning to me, which club do you want to go to? My mind raced. How about the Vanguard? Anywhere but Lucid. If she finds out my friends are throwing me a surprise party there, I'm toast. I stared down at my lap, lost in thought, and completely missed the knowing, almost amused smile spreading across Victoria's face. As we drove, Victoria's phone rang. The generic ringtone cut through the silence. The screen showed an unknown number, but I knew exactly who it was. Without thinking, I reached over and hit the answer button, putting it on speaker. Tori, sure enough, it was Caleb's voice. That perfect blend of devastation, pain, and misery. The man was an artist. I'm so cold, he said, and I can't get an Uber. He was stranded at the villa out in the suburbs. At this hour, he'd be lucky to see a stray cat. I was already gearing up to play my role, the magnanimous soft boy, the understanding husband, but Victoria didn't give me the chance. She stabbed the end call button on the steering wheel. Then, she glanced at me, rolling her eyes. A small movement, but I caught it and it chilled me. Honey, I'm so sorry, I stammered. I just thought you'd want to talk to Mr. Vance. I was genuinely rattled by my own boldness. But Victoria stayed focused on the road, as intense behind the wheel as she was in the boardroom. A few minutes passed. Then the phone rang again. My heart surged. She can't resist. Their bond is too deep. She'll answer. In the book, she tortured me for this guy. Screech. The G-Wagon jerked to a stop at the side of the road. Victoria stared at the phone, then picked it up. The car's Bluetooth connected, and I heard everything. Victoria, how can you be so cruel? So selfish? Caleb's voice cracked. I went abroad for us, for our future. I get that you're angry, but I can forgive you. Just leave him. I'll marry you tomorrow. I'll give you a lifetime of happiness. Silence. Then he added, I've thought about you every single day for 3 years. I messaged constantly. You never replied. Your coldness is breaking my heart. Finally, Victoria spoke. Caleb, I need you to stop contacting me. I'm a married woman. What you're saying is completely inappropriate. I sat frozen. She hung up. Then, for good measure, turned off her phone completely. I still couldn't process it. Is she really this ruthless? Her childhood love, and she just cuts him off. This plot was veering completely off course. And she never calls me her husband in front of people. A feeling of unease lingered as we drove on. Then the car stopped. Victoria turned to me. We're here. I nodded, dazed. But as I looked up, my blood ran cold. The pulsing neon sign spelled out one word, Lucid. I just checked the map, she said casually. The place you mentioned was too far. This is closer. We can start here. I have other plans for later. But I stammered. Honey, I'm suddenly not feeling well. I don't think I can drink. Victoria was already out of the car. She opened my passenger door, eyes narrowed, a dangerous glint in them. You can have juice. But we're already here. Don't be a killjoy. Inside, the vibe was electric. Lucid wasn't crowded, but the energy pulsed. Victoria walked ahead, and I hunched over, trying to use the dim lighting to hide. I'd forgotten one crucial thing. Lucid was my turf. Leo, where have you been? Jake. He darted past Victoria and made a beeline for me, younger, dressed in his usual streetwear, blue-dyed hair catching the light. Jake, stay back, I hissed, jumping in front of Victoria like a panicked little guard dog. My wife can't stand the smell of alcohol. I glared at him, eyes pleading. Thankfully, Jake wasn't an idiot. The word wife was clue enough. He stopped short. Oh, so this is the, impressive wife you told me about. He cleared his throat. Nice to finally meet you. With a nervous cough, Jake turned and bolted into the club. Wait here a sec, he said. I'll get a friend to set up a quiet VIP room. You two won't be disturbed. Good man. If he'd gone ahead with the party, my cover would have blown sky high. A smirk touched Victoria's lips. She grabbed my hand and followed Jake, pulling me into the main room. No need for a private room. We came for the atmosphere. No, honey, it's crazy in there. Let's just wait for Jake, I begged. Please don't ruin this. The main hall was decked out. Balloons, streamers, a full-on party zone over Victoria's shoulder. I saw Jake frantically tearing down a banner. Relief, still, I kept my head down and followed Victoria to an empty booth. I was so on edge, I didn't notice the flicker of disappointment on her face. What can I get for you two? Jake again, now in a waiter's vest. Victoria raised an eyebrow. Isn't that your friend? He works here. I stammered. That's why I come here to hang out. She nodded slowly, almost like she believed it. Just water for me, she said. I'll have a Coke. Need some sugar to calm my nerves before my blood pressure explodes. She turned to me. You can have a drink if you want. I'm driving. I smiled sweetly. You know me, honey, I'm a total lightweight. Jake's mouth twitched. He walked off and pulled out his phone. Seconds later, mine buzzed. Jake, dude, you are a hell of an actor. Are you just with this woman for her money? Me, get lost. We're in love. Jake, right. She looks like she takes better care of herself than you do. You'll probably die first. Me, jerk. I tossed my phone onto the couch and sipped my Coke. The truth, the original Leo had really loved Victoria, gave her everything. But when it came to her one true love, those 3 years of devotion meant nothing. Lucid was upscale. I knew half the patrons, but Jake must have put the word out because no one approached me. I was just starting to doze off when a group entered, 4 or 5 people surrounding a man with rugged stubble and an air of cool. Caleb, what the hell? I thought he was freezing on a street corner. I jumped up to block Victoria's line of sight. Honey, in my rush, I tripped and stumbled into her. She caught me, but I'm not exactly featherlight. We toppled onto the sofa, me landing on top of her. Sorry, I muttered. She didn't push me off. My heart hammered. Maybe we should go home. She gently pushed me off. Her hair fell around her face. For a moment, she looked almost fragile. Why? Can't trust just be simple? She murmured. I was too stunned to answer. She stood, looped her arm through mine, and we walked toward the exit. And then I saw him, Caleb, on the dance floor stripping off his jacket, showing off a sculpted chest. The crowd cheered. What a show-off! Suddenly, Victoria stopped. She tightened her grip and marched me toward the dance floor. Caleb froze mid-spin. Don't get the wrong idea. My friends brought me here to blow off steam. Then, he saw me. His panic twisted into rage. It was you, he shouted. You brought her here. You're trying to ruin what we have. The fire in me roared. 3 years I bent over backward for them, and he was blaming me. Before I could speak, Victoria grabbed a drink and tossed it in Caleb's face. You have a lot of nerve, Caleb, she said coldly. Leo is my husband. My legally wed husband. She stepped closer, her voice now a whisper. The real question is, who the hell do you think you are? Stunned. This wasn't the script. Caleb's friends piped in. Come on, Tori. We all went to school together. He's been in love with you for years. It's this gold-digging creep trying to split you up. They surrounded me. Caleb looked smug, but they forgot one thing. This was my house, what do you think you're doing?" A voice boomed. Patrons stood up. Half the club formed a wall around us. Without thinking, I pushed Victoria behind me. "Don't worry, baby, I got you." Jake was at the front of the pack, getting right in Caleb's friends' faces. "You heard me. You think yelling makes you right? Do you have any idea whose turf you're on? You want to start something in here? I promise you'll be leaving." On a stretcher, Caleb's crew, outnumbered and outmatched, immediately began to shrink, mumbling apologies. But one of them, trying to save face, shot me a dirty look. "You just wait, kid. We'll get you when you leave the club." Jake, who had started to walk away, just laughed. He turned back to his crew. "Looks like these gentlemen still don't understand whose house this is." He grinned. "Tell them why we're all here tonight." A massive cheer erupted, drowning out the music for Leo's birthday. These clowns, they're actually pretty loyal. A lot more loyal than Victoria anyway. Never threw me a decent birthday party in 3 years. I wasn't the original Leo, so I didn't really hold it against her. Victoria glanced at me, then raised her voice to be heard over the crowd. "Thank you all for celebrating my husband's birthday. All drinks tonight are on me. Enjoy yourselves." "Thanks, Tori." The crowd roared back, but this clearly wasn't her scene. After settling the tab, she took my arm to lead me out. Victoria Caleb, still not giving up, shouted from the stage, "Do you have any idea what my life has been like these last 3 years without you?" Victoria stopped and stared at him, her face a cold, emotionless mask. "Caleb," she said, her voice clear and steady, "I came here tonight to celebrate my husband's birthday, but since you're here, let's get this over with once and for all. Whatever we had end of the day, you gave me an ultimatum, come with you to California, or we were over. I have a family now. I have no interest in reminiscing with you." She took a step closer, "and I suggest you stop trying to destroy my relationship with my husband." Caleb's eyes blazed with fury. "You're so heartless, Victoria. I reached out to you constantly while I was away, and you never once replied. Some nights, the only thing that got me through was the thought of you." Victoria paused, then let out a short, bitter laugh. "Did you really think I only have one Instagram account? Just because you blocked me doesn't mean I couldn't see what you were up to, Mr. Vance. I have other ways of keeping tabs." Hearing that, I froze. If I remembered the novel correctly, the original Leo, knowing the power of a one true love, had gone to extreme lengths to cut off all contact between them. He'd even pulled strings to try and keep Caleb from ever returning to the country, but I hadn't done any of that. In pursuit of my quiet, comfortable future, I'd done nothing but play the part of the perfect, oblivious husband. Victoria wasn't stupid. Of course, she wouldn't just blindly trust that her old flame was pining away for her overseas. She had her own ways of finding out the truth. "You know what I hate more than anything?" she said, her eyes fixed on Caleb. "I hate liars." "Oh, I'm a liar? I've been living one big lie." I felt a sudden hollowness in my chest. I was so lost in thought, I don't even remember getting back into the car. "Just don't lie to me, okay?" In the car, Victoria's voice was heavy with exhaustion. "If there's something you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. But I can't stand being lied to." I didn't say anything. A wave of guilt washed over me. It wasn't a lie. Not really. It was an act. I never thought we'd actually make it. Thinking back, Victoria had been good to me. The mansion, the fleet of supercars in the garage, the black card with no limit. She never tried to control me, but from day one, because I knew the story, I was convinced she would leave me for Caleb if I hadn't read that novel. If I hadn't believed from the start that she was just using me, would I have been able to put on this act for 3 years? No, of course not. And after seeing her completely demolish Caleb at the bar, the guilt was a physical weight in my chest. "I'm sorry," I said quietly. "I won't lie to you again." The mood shifted. A sly grin touched her lips. "So my husband is quite the big shot of the club. Tell me, have you been picking up girls there?" The sudden change in topic caught me off guard. "No, absolutely not. I was just bored at home, so I'd go to Lucid sometimes for a drink. I met all those guys there." "Huh. They call me MC Wordplay, the undisputed king of Lucid. Before I'd woken up in this world, I was a DJ. I knew how to work a crowd. That's how I made so many friends so quickly." "Oh really? Just for a drink?" Remembering my promise, I sighed and told her everything. The whole story of my secret life at the club. Victoria was silent for a long time. Finally, she shook her head, a sad smile on her face. It seems you prefer a life of freedom. I've been holding you back. That's not true. I turned to look out the window, the streetlights painting the dark city in strokes of gold. I don't really have any big ambitions, I admitted. No grand goals I'm chasing. Call it lazy, call it unambitious, whatever. I thought about my past life, a monotonous existence that had sanded down all my sharp edges, leaving me with little desire for anything more. If we get divorced, I'll find a nice little house on the coast, live out the rest of my days in peace. That sounds pretty good. Screech. The car lurched to a sudden, violent stop. I looked up, startled, and met Victoria's gaze. Her eyes were as bright and intense as the moon. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," she said, her voice tight. My foot slipped. We didn't go home. Instead, Victoria drove to a scenic overlook on a hill just outside the city. She didn't say where we were going, and I didn't ask. From the top, the entire city spread out below us, a glittering tapestry of purple, red, and blue lights that chased away the darkness and filled the night with a warm electric glow. Victoria took out her phone and made a call. "Start it." "Start what?" "Oh my God. Is this it? Is she going to murder me and bury my body in the woods?" No, stop it. My wife wouldn't do that." I tried to calm myself down, but my eyes darted around nervously. "Look," she said, her cool hand slipping into my coat pocket, her fingers lacing with mine. I looked up. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Fireworks. A cascade of them exploding across the night sky in a riot of dazzling color. The bursts of light rained down like a shower of stars, illuminating the entire sky and awakening something deep inside me that I thought had long since died. Every man, no matter how cynical, has a weakness for romance. And this, I had to admit, was romantic as hell. At some point, Victoria had leaned against me, her head resting on my shoulder. I wrapped my arms around her. "Do you like your birthday present?" she whispered. This is for me?" "Of course. I was going to come out here to set it up myself, but you seemed so unhappy earlier." I thought back to earlier that evening when I'd assumed her client dinner was a cover for a date with Caleb. I'd been so sure, but she had been planning this for me the whole time. This Ice Queen, when did she get so romantic? Oh man, no one has ever done anything like this for me. In our 3 years of marriage, Victoria had never been neglectful. There were always gifts on birthdays and holidays, but they were transactional. A wire transfer, a delivery from a luxury brand. Never anything like this. Never anything with so much thought, so much heart. I pulled her closer, burying my face in her hair. "Thank you, honey." After the fireworks, everything changed. Victoria started coming home every night. I was still the man behind the powerhouse, keeping the house spotless and having dinner ready when she walked through the door. I hardly even went to Lucid anymore. Jake complained that business was down since their star attraction had disappeared. Then, one day, the internet exploded and I was at the center of the storm. "Bro, get off your ass and get online," Jake's frantic voice said over the phone. "You're blowing up." An article had gone viral with a headline that read, "The King of Gold Diggers, How a Kept Man Schemed His Way into a Tech Fortune." Someone had taken photos of me from my nights at the club and created a damning photo collage. That alone wouldn't have been enough to break the internet, but the story identified me as the husband of Victoria Sterling, CEO of Sterling Holdings. Some enterprising troll had even written a whole fan fiction history for me, a two-faced schemer who played the part of a soft, effeminate boy toy at home while secretly living a debauched life. All part of a master plan to kick out Victoria's one true love and steal her company. "This is a total smear campaign," I fumed. "Someone is paying for this." Jake had already rallied the guys to try and run defense for me online, but it was useless. Whoever was behind this had an army of bots and trolls pushing the narrative. Our attempts to clear my name only seemed to confirm the story in the public's mind. That afternoon, the main character herself, Victoria Sterling, issued a statement. She pushed it straight to the top of every news feed. "My marriage to Leo Miller is a private matter, but one that is legal and legitimate. I will not tolerate slander against my husband. Sterling Holdings will pursue legal action against any and all individuals and outlets spreading these malicious rumors to the fullest extent of the law." At the same time, the Sterling Holdings legal team released a trove of documents. They laid out the complete timeline of Victoria's relationship with Caleb Vance, followed by the date and official record of her marriage to me. But the killer blow was the document proving the origin of Sterling Holdings itself, a company called Miller Properties. That's right. Victoria had started with nothing. The seed capital for her entire empire had come from my family's business, which she had transformed from a failing real estate firm into the behemoth it was today. In an instant, the narrative of the gold-digging pretty boy collapsed. I was already a major shareholder in the company, and our assets were legally shared. The entire premise of the smear was a lie. Victoria was furious. She didn't just go after the online trolls, she went after the source. Her lawyers buried Caleb Vance in litigation, a move that effectively ended the entire sordid affair. Victoria came home late that night, well after 10, the smell of whiskey on her breath. I didn't say anything. I just smiled, took her coat, and handed her a pair of slippers. The familiar routine. A small comfort. You've been drinking, I said, stating the obvious. I knew she never drank with clients. I didn't ask why. Sit down, she said, her voice soft. We need to talk. Her eyes were hazy, a touch of vulnerability in them that made my heart ache. She's so beautiful. How am I supposed to talk about a divorce with her now? Her long eyelashes fluttered and she let out a sigh that seemed to carry the weight of the world. Let's get a divorce. You can have the house, she continued, her voice flat, and the cars. Take whichever ones you want. We'll split the company shares 50/50. The annual dividends alone are more than enough to live on for the rest of your life. She slumped back into the sofa as if all the strength had gone out of her. She felt like a failure. She had married me on a whim, a rebound from Caleb's betrayal, thinking she would never love again. But over 3 years, my quiet presence had become an essential part of her life, a foundation she didn't know how to live without. And now, she felt she had broken it beyond repair. I looked up, my usual evasiveness replaced by a new, unfamiliar firmness. So it is about Caleb. You can't forget him. My voice was sharper than I intended. Then why? Why did you do what you did at the club? Caleb, she said, a flash of irritation in her eyes. Why does it always have to be about him? Haven't you figured it out yet? I don't have any feelings for him. She pushed herself up, using the last of her energy to meet my gaze. Her beautiful eyes, once so cold, were now filled with a desperate, pleading vulnerability. Leo, she whispered, her voice cracking, after all this, don't you know who I love? It's me. The thought hit me like a physical blow. All this time, I'd been so sure she would leave me. I'd never dared to hope for anything more. But tonight, for the first time, I saw the real Victoria. Not the powerhouse CEO, but a woman who, like anyone else, just needed to be loved. I stood up and pulled her into my arms, holding her tight. A wave of shame and regret washed over me. I'm sorry, I whispered into her hair. Let's not get a divorce, okay? Let's never, ever talk about being apart again. Victoria tilted her head back to look at me, the icy mask gone completely. Her face was open and filled with a love that took my breath away. We kissed, a deep, searching kiss that erased 3 years of lies and pretense. After a long moment, she pulled back slightly, a soft smile on her lips. Leo, she said, her voice full of a new kind of promise. Let's have a baby. Okay, I said without a moment's hesitation. Okay.